Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope you can hear me just fine. As you can see, it's just me for right now. Abby was having a little bit of a flustered day. Um, as many of you know, she's been having some difficulties taking care of her mother with advancing dementia. And so there are some days where um, she's just got a lot on her hands, on her plate, and so she might need a little bit of extra time and patience. So with something like dementia, it's like a progressive disease, so it's kind of like Abby's just on a treadmill that's slowly getting faster. So we need to give her a little bit of grace. So um, unfortunately for me, I'm also a little bit flustered at the moment because just before I was getting ready to go live, apparently I've done a little bit too much research today before getting ready to go live. Curiosity killed the cat a little bit today. That's running inside of my computer. So I had to quickly, my internet browser crashed. So I had to reset my computer, and then it booted up just in time for me to go live. So sorry for the delay. I don't really like to do a long intro with music, having you guys sit around waiting, watching nothing. But sometimes we have technical difficulties. We do need a card of sorts, as they call it there. So how's it going, Jacqueline, Boot Camp, Rondo? Thank you for being here. Always good to see you guys. So what I wanted to talk today to you guys about today is the main story that stuck out to me is the U.S. court strikes down the global tariffs that Trump's the 10% tariffs that he's put on most of the world and Canada and Mexico. So let me call up a article here. I'm not going to be daring to share any video here because every other time I tried to do that with you guys, I just end up crashing the stream. So unless Abby can join us, she said she would be uh, maybe having a hard time joining at all today, but she'll try and be here later to at least admin and kind of just like support me taking the lead in the show today. So how's it going, John H? Thanks for being here. My memory just jacked way up. I think YouTube has memory leaks in Firefox. Took a while to stop that and get it back. Yeah, for somehow I had only like 30 around 30 or 40 tabs open at most, and my computer thought I had in my task manager said my web browser had 101 applications running. So I don't know how it thought I had at least twice as many of the processes going, but my computer is beyond my ability to understand and fix. I'm paying the price of not being avid tech supporter in my youth there, but that's okay. I think we need to have a little bit of being revolutionary is not just about being technologically savvy. It's about being able to, like even in the military and stuff, they have to have a preparation for when the tech fails them. So we have to have versatility, right? Adaptability. So we need to develop a non-tech alternative approach to things in tandem, parallel with our, you know, uh, arms race and technology with the capitalist. So what's up, Mastermind? Thanks for being here. Always good to see you. Oh, I see Abby popping in here. But I'll give her a bit of a moment. I'll let her slide in when she's ready here. So in the meantime, I'll just cover this first article real quick. So a court has struck down most of Trump's tariffs. What happens next? Was that you, Abby, there?
So, we really need to see your LDL state come down to lower the risk of another heart attack. Yes, do you want?
What's up? Oh, is this ad starting? So I can't. I don't think the ad's got any sound on my computer. I think you got some sound in your background there. Can you hear me, Abby?
I can hear you, not the ad, just you.
Not sure if Abby can hear me there. All
I
right.
can hear you.
No, yeah, I just heard briefly
No,
some
I
kind
can
of
hear
media,
you.
maybe on your end. All right, cool.
I can
Yeah,
hear you.
awesome. Um, so how's it going, Abby? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Just trying to. Um,
So John H is starting a new tech job tomorrow, which is awesome. Good for you. Everybody's sending you congratulations, John
nice.
H. I love it.
Good job. Good for you. I'm looking for a new job myself right now. Haven't gotten a call back yet, but I've heard a few positive things. So maybe we should enlist you for some tech support, hopefully one day. You wouldn't mind.
Boot camp. Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. I don't know if I've had some complications today, so I don't know if Michael told y'all, but yeah,
A little bit.
I'm a little off my top today, but I'm here, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here. So here we go. Go
Nice.
ahead, Michael.
Beautiful. Okay. Um, so this was a court struck down most of Trump's tariffs. So what happens next? Article from today. White House officials and trade experts said President Donald Trump has several ways to get around a court ruling that blocked many of the tariffs he has imposed on trading partners. The White House has appealed Wednesday night's decision and could use several other legal avenues to reimpose tariffs. And in the meantime, the court order deepens the uncertainty about trade policy and could affect trade negotiations with countries seeking to avoid high tariffs on their products. Those are the key takeaways. I always find that appreciative if I'm just kind of doing some quick research, but to actually get into the story. A federal court has dealt a setback to President Donald Trump's campaign of imposing tariffs on trading partners, but the trade wars are far from over, administration officials and trade experts said Thursday. On Wednesday night, the U.S. Court of International Trade struck down much of Trump's tariffs on foreign trade. The court gave the Trump administration 10 days to stop collecting the tariffs. In the meantime, the administration has appealed the ruling, hoping to have it overturned. The judge's ruling was a roadblock to Trump's trade agenda, but it doesn't stop it completely. The order leaves in place several major tariffs on specific products, including cars and metals. And according to White House officials and outside experts, the administration has multiple options to impose more tariffs through other legal avenues. The court, interestingly enough, basically said we were right, just use different rules and laws, said Peter Navarro, Trump's top trade advisor, on Bloomberg television Thursday. So nothing has really changed here. I would kind of a highly subjective statement. I would dispute that, and I'm sure lots of people would. Um, but what's interesting is, see, I kind of lost my articles that I had prepared because I had to close everything down. But what's interesting what's been going on here is the courts seem to have been ruling that their attempt to claim that using the threat of to the nation, the national security, is a reason for them to impose tariffs like this all over everyone. The courts are ruling that to be illegal and like unfounded, I guess, which is a really I think like a good precedent legally being set there, establishing that they can't use the claim of national security um, to do whatever they want. But Abby, are you watching something there? Because I hear some audio in the background.
Do
I don't know.
you?
Yeah, I don't know if it's distracting everybody or yeah, it sounds like a
I
TV's
don't have
going.
any. I don't have anything. No, that's no. I don't have anything. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. That's
Okay,
Black Life. I'm sorry.
yeah, like a door open or something. Yeah, that's okay. I just hope for the viewers that
No, the
that
door
kind of
isn't open.
background
It's just
noise
loud.
isn't
Sorry.
distracting. Yeah. What's up, Bad Cookies? Congrats to John H, hero of the day today. Um, yeah, sorry about the awkward pause here. I was just trying to explain a little bit. I kind of lost my flow that I had prepared today because my computer crashed. So maybe I just had to kind of call up whatever articles I had saved. But maybe I can call up another one here to kind of make the point that goes along with the point that I'm trying to make. Whatever, you get to cherry pick the articles, I guess, when you're reporting on them. But there's also it's interesting about how when you're trying to research stuff, there's articles that are being put in front of you, so you only really get to pick what from the banquet of things that they want you to. So, is everyone see Abby's muted here? Everyone doing okay? Yeah. I'll just finish off this article here I've got going, and then I'll call up another one.
I'm back.
Not to be confusing people too much. I'm a bit okay. There you are. Bit all over the place today. So
I'm
my
back.
apologies.
And everything's okay. Everything's better now. Tosh Mint said, sorry.
Oh, she's
Go
just
ahead,
yeah.
keep
Sorry,
going.
I was like waiting for you to
She
add
she
more to
she
that.
just said sorry for the. She was just saying sorry.
Yeah, no, that's
And
okay.
if you want me to add more, I'll
No.
add
I
more
just thought
later because she had a wonderful thing that happened to her today. So I'd like to share it, but later.
cool. All right, good. We got a little bit of a tee up. I forget the term, the lingo, whatever, but just a little bit of a tidbit for later to tantalize the audience.
Yeah,
So,
tip it for later.
yeah. So this is Trump has other options to impose tariffs. Kevin Hassett, chair of the National Economic Council, said the administration was confident the court's ruling would be overturned on appeal, and that it was not yet planning to impose tariffs by other legal avenues. There are 3 or 4 other ways we have to do it, he said Thursday in an interview on Fox News. We're not planning to pursue those right now because we are very confident that this ruling is incorrect. Well, they are very confident. That is one thing we can always say about this administration. I don't think that their confidence is very well placed, but that's the one thing that they make up for. What they lack in brains, they make up for in unfounded confidence. So experts at Goldman Sachs identified at least 3 other ways Trump could impose tariffs outside of the Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977 that Trump used for the Liberation Day levies. Those include a law that allows tariffs of up to 15% for up to 150 days, a 1930 law that has never been tried, and an authority that would allow tariffs after an investigation of unfair trade practices by foreign countries, which could take weeks or months. Ruling may stop tariffs but introduces more uncertainty. In the meantime, the court ruling deepens the uncertainty surrounding U.S. trade policy and could affect the administration's negotiations with foreign countries. So that is one thing as far as people concerned about is the U.S. about to enter into a recession, which I feel we've already been in one, in case anyone hasn't been paying attention to what's been happening to the pores, not just lately, but for a while now. But this should deepen your certainty of a recession because of every time there's uncertainty, investors pull back, and that slows things down. And that's kind of a time honored, tested truth of economics. So, what would Cookies just saying? Trump's the best president we ever had. Yeah. Some people still to this day, everything he's doing is working perfectly fine. Fucking sticking it to the lefties, whatever. Yeah, go Trump. It's like I love how little you need to pay attention,
That's so
to
funny.
be successful.
That's so funny when you said that. So it's amazing how it's like the gas prices are it's $1.99 a gallon and the groceries are going down. And I'm like, have you even been to a grocery store? Do you even understand what a price of groceries mean?
Yeah. Well,
It,
for
it's
me up here, it's like the inflation. They may act like they met the inflation target, but you understand how if our currency's like 30 cents, like depreciated by like 30 cents or whatever, that means that the cost of inflation is now completely like taken up in our devalued currency. Where that's our double tax there, right? But it's
mm,
different for you guys, I guess. But there's another just as good explanation for where your inflation is hiding, right? It's somewhere. It didn't go away. But and as far as concerns about inflation coming back, from what I've been reading, it's likely to be back by the end of the year. And they have like the summer to bullshit people about because the numbers can kind of look like they can play the numbers just a little bit because there's a delay the way that they use like averages and they cut off numbers. They like don't uh, use all of the data to give you their inflation rate. So and they like by measuring it in a yearly kind of way instead of like every 3 months or every month or whatever, that gives them the ability to skew the data. So it buys them time to lie to people. But the people who really know the economics understand not to trust those numbers that they're telling the public, and they can understand that the inflation is coming, whether they are telling you it's tamed or not. So, uh, but I digress, I guess. Should I maybe finish this article a bit? Uh, I think I would rather I like switch to another article, or this one's almost yeah, this one's almost done. So because I didn't even really properly read this article before I got started. I read other ones that I was going to talk about, and then my computer got screwed up, and I just pulled whatever something I had while I was getting the show started. So my apologies. But the administration says numerous countries are currently in talks with the White House to avoid higher Liberation Day tariffs ahead of July when a 90-day pause on some of the tariffs expires. The Trump administration still has other mechanisms through which it can impose tariffs. These have limits on the amount that can be imposed or entail processes which can take months or years, Susan Stone, a professor of economics at the University of South Australia, wrote in a commentary on the conversation Thursday. This undermines once a concession is reached. Tracy Schuhart, a senior economist at Ninja Trader, said the ruling will likely have little impact on negotiations. Sure, someone who wants to downplay the impact they're probably having on negotiations. However, it will be hard to judge the outcome of the trade wars until countries start signing detailed agreements, he said. Ultimately, countries do want to make some sort of deal with the U.S. However, benefiting countries around the world more so than in the U.S. As far as them trying to spin this as not a big setback. When we're considering when we consider had to walk back their that's glitchy there. I don't know, but when they had to walk back their attack on China there and lost a whole bunch of face doing that. Can anyone hear me? I feel like I'm losing some signal here,
I can hear
but
you.
there's been a couple of setbacks for the this Trump's trade war. So as far as looking good, like you're off to a good start to your war you're starting. It looks like he's you know completely fucked up from, but we got the bias of being communist. So we're hoping that based on what we're seeing, everything is falling apart for him. But right wingers, have their bias and inside story, right? They're going to be having a different opinion based on different information, right? So we all to try and be aware of our bias, but when we're correct, we have to be, not downplaying it as far as doing our critical analysis. It seems like we were pretty spot on with this isn't going to go well, didn't go well, and now you're trying to act like it's going well. But there's also that confirmation bias we want to be diligent to avoid. So I'm kind of rambling. So save me.
Okay. Okay. So I I feel like a lot of, I don't know what's going on. Everything's falling apart like as we suspected. The Trump administration is I'm not sure if it's by design or if they're really just falling apart because you never know. The world is a stage, and Trump and Elon are falling out, like Trump and Putin falling out. Like, who knows what's happening? Because at the end of the day, they might be in the back room building a script that they need to show us in the front room, so we'll be okay with whatever they got going on. But I did want to show. I do have a few things. I wasn't quite ready, but I thought this would be interesting. Um, and this has nothing to do with what you were just talking about. I'm talking about like all the pardons that President Trump is making. So he pardoned the Chrissy family. Okay, do you know who they are? The Chrisley family. It's like this woman and her husband who is obviously gay. I mean, he is flaming, or maybe it's projection. I don't know, but everybody thinks he's a gay man, but his wife and his kids. So I don't know, but whatever. The Christie family, they were convicted of tax fraud. He pardoned them. He pardoned a rapper from Baton Rouge, NBA YoungBoy. He was actually his his stay was he was about to get out in July of 2025. So that's 2 months from now. Okay. Now maybe he took the pardon because of the probationary period he would have or whatever. But the point is, oh, and it's another person that is who had tax evasion. I forget his name. Sorry. But it's like Trump is pardoning people in the reality sphere because of influencer numbers. It's really fucking sad. I mean, that's the way it looks to me. You guys tell me how it looks to you. It looks like he is garnering, um, garnering influence through influencers who have tons of followers and likes and whatever. It looks like a I don't know
I call it pay for
I don't
play
even know
in
what to I
politics.
don't even know what to say.
I think we got a bad delay today.
It
Call it
just seems really disgusting. Yeah, it's
sorry,
like quid, yeah.
quid pro
Oh, am
quo.
I? Yeah, I'm that's me, right? Oh, damn.
I don't know.
I'm
We're just
gonna
gonna
leave and come back and see if it helps.
yeah. That hopefully that sounds. I'm gonna
Okay.
set up. Sounds good. I'll get another article up here. Because that last one was from Investopedia, and they kind of just left out all the like constitutional crisis of what's going on here, and that's kind of like more the real story. I mean, as much as the tariffs are something that we all know well, um, that's just kind of like the like trying to make it all about the tariffs is the economism, the problem of trying to reduce things to economics. And this is what I've been hearing some commentators in the maybe even in some of the independent media, they're trying to say like at the end of the day, Trump's like a businessman, so you can kind of trust him to behave like a businessman. What he wants is to make a deal. And I think what this commentator I was listening to earlier today was referring to was more about the making a deal with Putin, um, or with Hamas even. But this also applies to things like this, where we're expecting Trump to behave like a businessman. But when you're recognizing the problem of trying to reduce everything to economics, you're ignoring the political. And I think it's wrong to treat Donald Trump as if he's just a businessman. I think he's a terrible businessman. He was a terrible businessman to begin with. And like a lot of bad businessmen, like bad capitalists, he finds his success in cozying up to Big Daddy government. So clearly, that is a conscious choice to pivot to more political behavior for economic benefit. So even Trump seems to be fully aware that his actions are political and not economic. So we should be uh, diligent to not be trying to like psychologize Trump's actions too much, act like we know him from the inside out, like we can tell what he's thinking and stuff like that. That's kind of one thing that bothers me with commentators in independent media. We often act like we know these people better than they know themselves, and we don't even know them at all. So this is Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada and world blocked by U.S. trade court. So this is from Global News, so it'll be a Canadian perspective instead of an American article. But the U.S. Court of International Trade on Wednesday struck down U.S. President Trump's sweeping tariffs on Canada and the rest of the world, ruling he exceeded his authority under an emergency powers law, which is not something the other article mentioned at all. The three-judge panel's decision blocks both the fentanyl and border security-related tariffs on Canada and Mexico and the global reciprocal tariffs Trump imposed in April that have unleashed widespread economic chaos. The challenged tariff orders will be vacated and their operation permanently enjoined, the ruling says. Trump declared a national emergency on fentanyl earlier this year to justify the tariffs on Canada and Mexico, saying they were necessary to elicit action from those countries to curb the flow of the deadly opioid. He later ordered the United States trade deficits with several countries also amounted to a national emergency, dubbing his April 2nd announcement of reciprocal tariffs as Liberation Day. Both emergencies were declared under the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which the Trump administration argued gives the president broad power over how to respond, including through actions on imports to the U.S. But the court sided with several states and businesses that challenged the tariffs over the economic harm the plaintiffs said was caused, and that only Congress has authority under the U.S. Constitution to approve tariffs. The White House said in a statement to Global News that the court did not dispute the harms caused by the trade emergency Trump declared. It did not say if the administration will appeal the decision, although it is expected to. It is not for unelected judges to decide how to properly address a national emergency, spokesperson Kush Desai said, to give you an idea of how the Trump administration is going to respond. So I think that this is something that we should be focusing on as to like what the issue is as far as the legality and the power struggle, because the right wingers, the fascists, they believe that the executive should have absolute power, and
I don't
that's
know what the fuck is happening.
okay. What? Go ahead.
No, I was muted. I was talking to Taj Mitt. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is happening because it's a lot of glitching. Or maybe it's my, I don't know. Can you make that bigger though?
Yeah, sorry. It's both of us. We gotta fix our tech. It's severely impacting our production value. So sorry, guys. Um, but I wanted to kind of not just talk about the news article. I wanted to kind of get to the uh, Well, first off, we could go in the direction of talking about the parallels between Hitler's dismantling of democracy and Trump, what Trump's up to right now. That was kind of one direction I was thinking that we could go in, but it is it's worth talking about the Trump plot to take over the federal courts, right? Because that's something you can look back to his first administration and see his attempts to stack the federal courts, and like everyone knows how there's a Republican majority on the Supreme Court now, and so that's kind of when people are trying to say, "Oh, Trump's not a fascist. Trump is a fascist." Whatever. These like seeing what he's up to with the dismantling of democracy is one of the things that is the evidence that people should be pointing to when we're talking about, yes, Trump is a fascist, and these are the reasons why. So let me just call up another article here, because we kind of already get the point with the tariffs. We read 2 articles about it there.
I mean, was Obama not somewhat of, wasn't he fascist light? LITE. I mean, he gave
Yeah,
way
Obama.
to
Yeah,
yeah. People act like he was our savior, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You know, the liberals did, and he did. He was just as evil, but everybody went to brunch and didn't pay attention because he sounded good.
yeah,
Okay, Trump sounds like a evil hitman,
yeah,
like a demented Biden sound demented. Trump sounds demented. Now everybody's paying attention. But if we really look back, we haven't had a good president since I don't know, FDR. Was it FDR?
I don't even know.
Was he the
Like
one?
people,
No, Lyndon Johnson. Sorry.
no,
I think
I
it was
wouldn't.
Lyndon Johnson.
No, not. I'd say he's definitely not one of the good presidents, whatever. If there are any, like I don't. And
No,
like
which
FDR
president?
is often
No, it was
considered a
one
good president.
president who got three
Silent.
terms because he was doing a lot of social things. Was that
Right.
Lyndon Johnson
Jimmy
or
Carter. No,
FDR?
Lyndon Johnson was the one who like was probably involved with the JFK assassination and took over
So
because of
maybe it was
Jimmy.
FDR. I'm sorry.
Right. So,
I forget.
FDR is the one who's responsible for the New Deal, so everyone celebrates him as like one of the good capitalists or like a social democrat that did good compared to. But
Oh,
to me,
everybody's saying FDR, but also FDR, as you said, was responsible for the New Deal, and the New Deal was exclusive of black people.
it's what saved capitalism, and this is what people's like a
Mm-hmm.
little bit ignorant of, like the communist.
Socialism saved capitalism.
Well, it's where, yeah, like people are like, oh, look, this is where those damn Democrats did those socialist things, like the right wingers would be like, fuck FDR or whatever. But then, like a true communist would also be, in some instances, like fuck FDR, right? Because he fucked us over at like any chance of taking that anger at that time and using it to achieve a revolution. Instead, he used it to achieve reformism. And so we can get in. We haven't really, I think you and I discussed reformism versus revolution, but it's been in the cycle recently with the other commentators. So it's very important
Well,
to recognize who's the so-called friend of the left that's pulling us back into capitalism with a clean face that's not so clean after all.
yes, and thank you for all the commenters that are holding my feet to the fire because he wasn't a good dude. It was just like the dude,
Yeah.
the
The deal,
the
they've been ripping
dude.
away. That's like, what's up, John Kemper, Old Man Barker? Good to see you guys.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, y'all. I'm out of it today.
that's okay. We
Go
all got
forth.
our days, Sometimes we
Go
can't be bringing our
forth and
A.
prosper.
It's all good. Even today, like
Okay.
I've been flustered. Like the last couple of days, uh, ran out of cigarettes, so I got like whatever nicotine left I can scrounge up. So been rolling my own cigarettes.
You're
No,
rolling your own
that's back
cigarettes.
when they rolled their own cigarette. I feel like I'm in the 1930s, right? But
Oh, look, my ginger's in the house. Stay black. No, not you, mastermind. Hold on. Stay black.
you gotta talk about that story about the prehistoric
No, no,
pseudo-archaeology
mastermind
story.
YouTube.
There's one about like the Egyptians or the Scythians came from North Africa and settled Scotland. There's an Egyptian princess. So there is a story we could talk about black people founding the Scottish nation. If we want to delve into that on one episode, it would be fun. I think so.
Hmm. That's funny. Caught, wait, caution.
Sean.
Y'all dumb. Oh my gosh. I be thinking when my shit dumb. Now, some of y'all know that song. I'm gonna leave it at that. I be thinking when my shit dumb. Those who know know. All right, go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah. All right.
Michael.
So this article is from April 28th. Not so long ago though. The Trumpian plot to take over the federal courts, the conservative legal movement's latest broadside against the judiciary is likely to fail. I don't know. Um, unless like the duopoly is likely to continue its tug of war every 4 years, so that nothing is accomplished. Maybe that, but it illuminates how far they're willing to go to dismantle the rule of law. There's also just some irreversible changes that's going on with the American empire. So expecting things to go back to the way they were might be a little bit like so last year, last decade. Like not like people got to get with the times a bit, right? So a top Trump-aligned legal group filed a lawsuit last week that argued that two key components of the judicial branch are actually part of the executive branch, a novel legal theory that would radically expand President Donald Trump's influence over the federal courts. The American First Legal Foundation, or AFLF, was founded by top Trump advisor Stephen Miller and enjoys close ties with the administration. It argued in its complaint last week that the agencies at issue, the Judicial Conference of the United States and the Administrative Office of the U.S. Courts, exercise regulatory power and not judicial power, despite the fact that their work is closely tied to the functioning of the federal courts. Under the Supreme Court's most recent separation of powers decisions, AFLF claimed the two agencies must therefore fall within the executive branch's power. Both agencies must be overseen by the president, not the courts, the group asserted. Judicial relief here not only preserves the separation of powers, but also keeps the courts out of politics. The lawsuit does not technically come from Trump or his administration. Nonetheless, it amounts to a serious threat to judicial independence that is being carried out on the president's behalf. If successful, it would wrest control of the federal court's support agencies away from Chief Justice John Roberts, place them in Trump's hands instead, with dire implications for the rule of law. So this is what happens when people get a little bit caught up with just like culture wars and everything, and what's happening. Like, while as important as it is to understand what influence Musk is having and other oligarchs and stuff, or what's going on between Trump and Netanyahu, sometimes we are missing a little bit of the devil's in the details of what's going on domestically, because it's not as sexy or whatever. Even though none of that stuff is sexy, and in my opinion, at least, I'm sure, and pretty much everybody else's, but you get what I'm saying. So,
Michael, you can make it sexy. Make it a
but
little
there's the
sexy, Michael.
sensational, right? But everyone goes for the sensational news or whatever, like who died today, right? Or, you know, um, but sometimes you got to kind of go through the dry stuff to figure out like what are they really getting away with while we're being distracted. That's something that I always try and be one of those people who's like
Right.
thinking
Like all these pardons that like they're pardoning all these criminals, and it's like, what happened today where you're distracting us from what bill that passed where all these people are being pardoned all at once, and that's dominating the news. And that's what we need to focus on.
Not that
And
I'm
we're
necessarily
not
good
gonna
at
like
figuring out
really
what it
know
is.
what it is until like a couple of days later. So
Yeah,
we're gonna look into that, and hopefully by next week we'll have some answers.
yeah. It's like I'm good at seeing what everyone else is jumping at and being like, I don't. Oh, that's too popular right now. There's got to be a better story to dig
There's
for.
got to be
Doesn't
a better story.
doesn't mean I can come up with finding a good catch, but I try. Um, so just for the sake of time, I wanted to switch to another one here because uh, there's only so much that I kind of like in order to make the point. It helps to I can use multiple sources or I can read an entire article on one page, right? So um, what we're kind of getting at is that Trump is and the Republican Party is like kind of like copying Hitler, and they're going after the rule of law, right? And trying to like not just go against the Democratic Party, but go against democracy. Like there was one quote, the guy I forget who said it, but this Project 2025 thing that they're implementing is about like they see it as their like in the right wing view, it's like the American Revolution 2.0, and it can be bloodless if the left lets it happen. And that was the quote, but that's what I was thinking about political violence, right? Who's more extreme? Because what we're seeing with this Elias Rodriguez guy is a lot of accusations that the left's become more extreme with political violence. Meanwhile, the right is like carrying out this constitutional coup and a coup d'état against the rule of law and stuff. And um, there are people pointing out the doing the historical materialist analysis and saying this is what the Nazis did before World War II, or whatever. They tried to consolidate their power in the courts. There was uh, like the state, not necessarily the deep state, whatever, but like the bureaucratic state had all kinds of nonpartisan people, like career people installed that were not willing to go along with what the Nazis were doing, and those people had to be removed. And we see this pattern recurring. So, not to be trying to read this whole thing because look, they obviously try and make money off of writing a big long article. But let's just skip down here to the 20. Like the article's about 20 things. So let's just try and get through the number, like the 20 things that they're claiming that Trump is similar to Hitler. So that because sometimes like neither number one, neither was elected by a majority. That's a little bit like a stretch to be all because they weren't elected by a majority. He's just like there's plenty of politicians that were elected without a majority. So that one is a bit thin. But then as we go on, we'll see that like I don't know. They probably
I
put
mean,
that
we
one as
have
number
the
one because
entire electoral college, so
yeah. So
majority doesn't. It's a republic. It's not a democracy. So I don't understand why people say we're trying to defend our democracy when we have been a republic all along. So that's kind of fucking weird, but whatever. Go ahead.
right. Well, but even that we should have a. I was looking into that too today. We could talk about whether is Trump a real Republican or is he a Republican in name only? Because there are some people like the Midwestern Marks kind of like ACP fellows are making an argument that there's like uh, an anti-imperialist tradition to like early America and like what the American Revolution was about was like an anti-imperialist fight against the British Empire. So true republicanism is not really about this imperialism, and so it's being distorted all this time and stuff. So even if you say it's not a democracy, whatever, you say, well, fine, that well, you fight for your republic, right, to restore the integrity and the honor of your republic, whatever. But that's not what Republicans are about these days anymore. They're about carrying like preserving the republic by preserving the empire, not recognizing that this is a
I
massive
mean,
conflation.
I
Like,
would actually argue that that's not what the Democrats are either. So I just I just feel like they're all on the same team, and they're doing this purposely, like control opposition on both sides. Like the right goes to the extreme on purpose, and the left has to meet them halfway on purpose, which leaves crumbs at the table for the people at the bottom all the time. And you can't tell me that they don't know that they're doing this on purpose. Like there's a rhyme and a reason to this. There's no way that the Democrats are so fucking feeble that all they could do is write a strongly worded letter, or just yell and state extreme facts, and then nothing happens when they have control of the three branches of government. If you have control of the three branches of government
Right.
as a
Well, it's
Democrat,
fun.
and you actually believe the things that you claim that you believe, that you're fighting for the people, why not pass the laws that you say you're fighting for the people? Why wait till you don't have the three branches of government and then go hunky dory about universal health care or Medicare or Roe v. Wade? Like, why wait until you can't do anything to act like you want to do something? You don't piss on me and call it rain. Don't spit in my face without spitting. You spitting in my face through the TV. Stop making these people celebrities. They're politicians. They work for you. It's, I'm not saying literally spit in their face, but figuratively, sorry, spit in their face. Get in their face. Ask them
Yeah.
questions.
Well, even
Don't don't let them. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, even when the Republicans managed to get that super majority with all three, in charge of all three houses or whatever, it's 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 a good chance to see how they also failed to deliver on their promises. So, or even if they, like in this case with the Trump administration, seems like some of the things they're trying to do for their base, like for the Project 2025 stuff, they are trying to actually deliver on a lot of these things. But then it's important to recognize what happens when they do deliver, like see how much of a disaster these policies are when they try and adopt them. That's the one thing about the Democratic policies. Like, they've been trying so hard not to implement anything. We can't even see if they'll work or not if they implement them, because they won't. At least if the Republicans implement something, you can like see like, well, look at how awful that's working or whatever, because they're trying something even though they're failing or whatever. But that's like a apologetic thing to say to the Trump administration when they're what their failures doing is catastrophic, right? But from a global perspective, like the Chinese were saying, I think something about the Chinese are like very grateful to the Americans because Trump's doing everything that they couldn't do, right? Like I hear a lot of the common thing from the Chinese commentators like Carl Saw is uh, like Trump is like some kind of operative for China. He's like an asset, or whatever. He's doing like he's making China great again, like no one ever could, except for a
Like no
China
one
supporter,
ever
and yet
could.
supposedly anti-China hawk out there. So it's hilarious the way that they. But maybe that's just their media people doing their propaganda. But I'm sure there's some truth to that. So
Mm.
Rondo's saying Democrats aren't fighting for shit. They're too chump made. Look at that Obama with a vengeance. Bootleg styles. P looking ass Nergo called Wes Moore. Yeah.
That's
So it's
that's pussy looking ass Negro called Westmore. That's what he was saying.
yeah,
I just had to,
a little too
he
much
had to
for
put
me
it like
there.
that.
I'm not even West.
I'm just gonna tell it like it is. Yeah, for real. I mean, look how they had to have Colin Powell. That was the black man that they got us into the Iraq War, right? They propped this black man in front of us to tell us how we needed to go in Iraq with weapons of mass destruction, blah blah blah. Okay, then they got he not a foundational black American because his father is Kenyan and he was raised by a white woman in Hawaii. He ain't that ain't black culture. He not black. I mean he black, but he not black. Okay, so they got him to go into Libya and kill Gaddafi because if a white person did it, they would have been up in arms. But because a black man did it, I guess it was a okay. And that black man was trying to do far more for Africa than any of them puppets ever would. All right. Now we got what's his name? Michael Langley, the general. We got another coon all up in our face trying to convince us of why Burkina Faso and the Sahel region is a threat to their own people, to democracy, blah blah blah, whatever the fuck. They it's the same play. If you look at America, whenever there is a white police officer that kills an unarmed black person, there's always a black police chief that shows up in the microphone and explains to us, wow, everything is by the book and we need to calm down, black people, because it's okay. Just take it. Take it. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Come on now. Come on with it. I don't know. I'm emotional, Michael. Today I'm emotional. I already told we should probably wrap it
We're
up
just
soon.
getting some. The subtle joke because I'm losing you there with the tech issues. I just like it's interrupt. I'll have to watch it later, but it's interrupting like the flow of your. You can't make a good joke when the tech fucking fucks it up.
Oh, my
Sorry.
tech is bad. I didn't know my tech was bad. I'm sorry. From my where I'm sitting, my tech was good.
Maybe I
Sorry.
need to back out and come back in. Sorry, what's
Maybe.
that?
I thought my tech was good. I don't know. Y'all tell me in the chat whose tech is bad. Is it mine or Michael's? Or are we both good? Who knows?
Oh, KYE. Good to see you.
Kill your
I think it's mine
agricores.
today. Because I had to reset my computer just before we went live. I had to restart it, and then I didn't have time to like let it reboot up properly, so it's just like struggling to keep up the whole time. So,
John
but I
says
meant
both is
to
good with him, and Mastermind says Michael is lagging. So I don't know.
yeah.
I guess it depends on where you are
Well,
and what you're doing.
I was just trying to read off these 20 ways that Trump is copying Hitler, and so maybe we could try and get
And so should we?
back to that.
So
Otherwise, I
should
can
we?
share the link with you.
Okay, go ahead. Is that
So
right
let me
here?
just try and get yeah.
Can you make it
Let me
bigger?
just try and get through a few
Make it
more.
bigger. Yep.
Yeah.
He says your internet is getting choppy every now and then. Do you want to send it to me so I can share it? Maybe. Maybe that would be better.
Well, I'm gonna share it in
And
the
and
private chat here, and then
yep.
in
In the
case I drop
meantime,
out, then you'll have it.
yep. And in
Because
the
I was saying I could
meantime,
just
I'm
carry on from here, or I'll
so
stop.
in the meantime while I'm pulling it up, I just want to say that tomorrow, I know last week we were like, oh, we're gonna have a dance party, but we couldn't figure it out or whatever. But we already have it on the books for tomorrow, right? 7 to, we decided, what did we decide? Um,
7 till 9, so that
yeah, 7 to 8:30
Jacqueline
or
can be there
something, so
tomorrow.
Jacqueline could participate if she wanted to, because we
Yeah,
know she is way out there in the hemisphere.
even that's
And
already
we,
pretty late for her, but
I know, even that's pretty
I don't know
late,
if she
but it was
likes.
better than nothing, I suppose. I
Yeah, I never
hope,
organized anything like this
Jacqueline.
before. I'm a little feeling like it's. I don't want to jinx it, or whatever, but it's since I never or I'm not really a dancer. I never organized anything like this. I wonder how. I hope it's fun for you guys. So
Um, Basically, it's just we're gonna give a link and people can join in. You can give us your songs that you want us to play, and we could all dance to them, and that's it.
yeah. Well, I was
Because shit is getting crazy, and we got to make sure through the crazy we're okay,
yeah.
right?
So Jacqueline says so it's midnight my time, Abby. I think so because you're 5 hours
Oh,
ahead of me.
7 is midnight. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Might be a little.
Well, we
Maybe we
try to
can
make it
change
as early as
it if you'd
possible.
like. But
So
yeah, I don't
if
know.
you could just stay there, like, do 30 minutes or something.
But I meant to.
Seven
I
to
was
eight
gonna.
thirty. That's what we decided.
Yeah, because that's kind of early for people over here, even. But if it's on a Friday,
Right.
you can do that and then go to the bar or something, right? So, but
Eh,
I'm meaning to say, if you're in the Discord already, just go ahead and share some music in the music section for tomorrow. If there's anything that you have in mind already, could have probably given you better notice, but my bad.
look how bad. Look how bad.
Clothing
Clothing is
option.
not optional. I wish it
No.
was. I wish it was optional, personally, but
Well, we're just live
we can't
streaming
do
on
that.
YouTube,
We can't do that,
so
mastermind.
pretty sure they kick people off of the YouTube for those kinds of streams. So,
But if it was a private party, it'd be optional. Yes, I'm central. Um, I am central. So, so when we say 7 to 9, it's 7 central to 9 central.
that's what I
Correct.
put in the event thing. Yeah, on the Discord. Maybe I
Yes.
should share a link with the for our for anyone who might be watching who's not in the
Eh,
Discord. If you'd like to join, you are welcome.
antediluvian atheist. I'm glad you just said that because this is how I feel. Why do men get to take off their shirts in public and women can't? It's because our boobies are bigger than theirs. Men can get breast cancer too. Like, why is that considered a genitalia for women and not men? Why is that? I don't understand that.
Well, I don't
I
understand
feel like
being
women
one of
should
these.
free the boobies too.
I wholeheartedly agree. Free the boobies. I don't understand being a man why there are men out there who want to oppress the boobies, who don't want to see them. It's like, well, I understand some of them, the gay men, but it's the straight men that want the boobies. There's the whole religion of people who need to have women as covered up as possible, and those are most part great men.
There are a lot
And
of tribes in Africa where women are boobies are free and nobody's getting raped. Nobody's getting like it's okay. It's it's a part of life. It's okay. The boobies are fine. Let the
yeah,
let the titties be free.
well, some
I'm
people
with
might
you.
say
I'm
that
with you, John.
maybe the bra has made boobs a little bit more pleasing to the eye for some, but I'd say there's no reason. It's just misogyny and eugenics to be trying to tell women how they're supposed to be and alter what they naturally are to something that you would rather them be, right? So
I don't know what that means, antediluvian atheist. If you want a thought experiment, ask someone when boobies become illegal when someone is transitioning.
ooh, that's interesting.
Oh, so are you saying like if a trans someone becomes a trans man and they cut off their boobies, then they're allowed to show them in public? Is that what's
Or
being
maybe
said here, I
when
think?
someone's becoming a trans woman and the boobies are developing or being the surgery is because that's it's like a sort it's an interesting version of the Sorites paradox I've probably talked about before, but maybe lesser known thing about when does a pile become a pile. So when does a trans woman's boobies become boobies, right? And when so
And why
I'm
are
not
we
sure if I'm
calling
reading
them
you right.
boobies?
You bring up those fun words, and then all of a sudden, whew, that's what we're talking about now.
No. How do we start calling them boobies? This might be a wonderful time to ask people to like, share, and subscribe.
Mhm.
Like, share, and subscribe, people, because
Subscribe to the free.
apparently that's how the algorithm works or whatever. I don't know. We don't really care. Um, but yeah, so
So here's
what's it
she's
say? So, like,
so
if a trans woman starts out, they can have a bare chest. Yes, it's cool. But at some point, boobies are too big and now it's all censored. Oh, I see. So, a biological male can have their chest out, but then when they become a trans woman, then they no longer can have their chest out. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah. I think it sucks. It's dumb. Just like when a woman is trying to breastfeed in public, like she's just trying to feed her baby, and they're like, "This is disgusting. What are you doing?" And I'm like, she's feeding her baby. That's what she's doing. Like, what is wrong with you
yeah.
for thinking something is wrong with that? With feeding a child? Aren't you pro-life? The
No, just
fuck?
from it doesn't bother me except for it's like, oh, now I got to make sure I'm not looking like someone who's like staring at you. That's the only thing. It's like titties out, whatever, and my eyes might happen to look in that direction, and now I got to make sure I'm not laser focused on a strange woman I don't know while she's feeding her baby, whatever. It's just the etiquette is look away. You just look away. You don't need to make a big fuss about. No, the etiquette should be you have to go be behind closed doors or whatever. It's like it's a little
Eh,
bit restrictive. But
yeah. I mean, that's kind of like curiosity a little bit. If you haven't seen it before, you're a little curious, but you try not to look. Like when I lived in Minnesota and I saw an Amish person for the first time, I was so goddamn curious. I was kind of stalking them in the store. I was like hiding behind the end cap, looking like just because I wanted to see what they looked like in person. I wasn't trying to be like a stalker or anything. I was just really curious, and I didn't want to seem like I was being a stalker. You know what I mean? It's just curiosity.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
every man is curious to see what a woman's boobs will look like under that shirt of hers or whatever, right? So sometimes it's like, oh, I can't resist whatever my instincts, right? So, but that's our. I think I said this before on our show, whatever. That's our job as men, whatever, to have some modicum of control over our instincts, rather than expect not to have to deal with them by forcing somebody like a woman to go alter everything about her life to make our instincts easier to deal with. So
look at the Yeetus the fetus.
that's a good way to put it. Yep. Some people would feel that's a little too conservative to not be pro abortion enough. But I think that there's you know something about a death cult kind of angle to be said about that. Like there's enough death going on, and we continue to encourage it left, right, and center.
I'm sorry, I'm pro-abortion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
If
I understand.
anybody is offended by that, I am pro-abortion.
I'm not pro like make laws against like forcing women to have babies, of course. So then I guess in some people want to be absolutist about it, then technically I fall on the pro-abortion side, right? But there's a lot of nuance there. So I'm just saying like people should be when they're worried about having kids because they're too poor and stuff. This is where I'm starting to think you would make a different decision if you weren't in your life situation here. So we should be focusing on improving people's living conditions so that they would make a different choice, as opposed to focusing on making it more available for them to
No,
stunt society. We are in a reproductive crisis or whatever. So the more like
that
we
is
need
true.
children because we already don't have enough for replacement, right? So, but yeah,
This is true, Michael. But there are also women who are um, in a situation where they don't want to be attached to this individual because they are abusive or whatnot. So,
yeah,
pro abortion isn't always about poverty, sometimes it's about
yeah.
self preservation.
Yeah, and you can't
So,
narrow it down to people want to always try to reduce it. It's this reductionism, this oversimplification. They want to make the issue about the one thing that they like to cherry pick about. But there's obviously very many multiple different reasons why women need abortion. Safety, right, for preservation of the mother's life in risky pregnancies, right? And I don't think that we should be forcing women to have babies that they were raped and they got pregnant, and people think that, well, because there's a life or whatever. No, you don't have to perpetuate that abusive, coercive situation. So anyway, we're talking about something we did not prepare intend to talk about at
I
all.
know, how did we get on this subject? We got to go because I wasn't even prepared to be. Oh, wait, sorry. Um, we have something we're supposed to be doing right
I wanted to
now.
get through those 20
And
comparisons,
yep,
right?
yep,
We only
yep,
got down to
yep,
two of
yep,
them, I think. So
yep. Okay, here we go. So, leading civil rights lawyer shows 20 ways Trump is copying Hitler's early rhetoric and policies. I'm just gonna do the headlines for the first two because you already got through those, and then I'll let you go through the rest. Sounds good?
yeah,
Okay. Okay, so the first is neither was elected by a majority. I mean, well, that sounds like a Kamala too, but
that's what I
both
said.
found both found direct communication channels to their base. Okay,
What it says about
that
what it
sounds
says
like the Dems and the Republicans too. But okay,
what it says in the blurb there is the Nazi Party gave out radios where only there was only one channel, and it was their Führer or whatever ranting like we've seen, right? And so that's
okay, is
that's
that
the
not
analogy.
both parties?
Exactly, right. So that's where yes, tech you got a check mark or whatever, but it's like the significance of the analogy is debatable, right? Like so, but it's when we get down to the other ones that down the list, I think they saved the best for last, right? They're getting away the weakest out out front, so because the reader maybe remembers the last thing they read as opposed to the first thing. So you want to get to the next one there?
Yep. I'm just gonna show the while we just the last of the funnies.
Yep. Yeah.
of the bad folks up in here are still talking about boobies. They still talking about boobies.
What can I say? It's a topic that I'm happy to. I don't mind talking about it
I don't
as long
mind
as you
talking
want.
about boob. I love boobies. Mm. Ain't they
Right.
sweet? Okay, so
Perfectly
number
healthy.
three.
Anyway, um,
Right.
so number three, both blame others and divide on racial lines. So that's kind of like scapegoating, uh, like racial scapegoating. I think that's fairly, but like you're saying, I think that's both parties. We could probably there's a bit
Yeah, all of this sounds like the two-party system.
right.
That's
So it's
all this sounds like.
we happen to do spontaneous like we're doing another survey here on top of this one, right? So uh, now we're saying not just is how much is Trump like Hitler, we're also saying how much is the Democratic Party just like Trump and Hitler, and
Hmm.
we're getting to see. So number four, both relentlessly demonize opponents. So yeah, right, Democratic Party and yeah, they both demonize, right? So boobies is everyone's first love. Yeah, no matter which side of the gender spectrum you fall on. So
For right,
who doesn't
for
love
real,
food, right? So
right.
but nowadays we got our not so necessary natural whatever way of life. A lot of women are given that formula, right? So now
Mm.
your first love is a plastic tip.
Oh,
Now not
oh. Number five.
moving on. The unceasingly attack objective truth. This is where I think it's important, like to try to be aware of the like the parallels, right? Because like Nazis attacking objective truth, that's postmodernism, right? That's the reason why Marxists are against that stuff. It's because we need objective truth to do our dialectics, and that's why the fascists will always be against the objective truth. And so I think when we look throughout history, it's always one of those warning signs, right? When they attack objective truth, they probably don't really care about doing the right thing. So not that anyway. Number six, they relentlessly attack mainstream media. So that's one thing that we on the left we often you'll see that they like to lump the extreme left in with the extreme right. So we often you could check these off for communists too. Like we relentlessly attack mainstream media, but for very different reasons. Except
Hmm.
there are some uncanny parallels, some unsettling things that you could say technically yes we do fall
But
under
don't
that
they do
same.
that from both sides? They do that
Yeah,
from both sides. So I don't know about number six because we relentlessly attack mainstream media too because they aren't really media. They're like state media.
yeah, and mainstream
So I
media
don't know about number
relentlessly.
six.
And anyone not paying attention, mainstream media relentlessly attacks like innocent people all the time. Hello, anyone watching
Mm-hmm.
what's been happening with Gaza, right? The mainstream media
Mm-hmm.
is attacking them, helping genocide them. So it's not exactly
Yes.
like an innocent figure. However, the way that the Nazis were attacking the mainstream media in their time was in order to kind of begin a genocide, right? They needed to attack the mainstream media to bring, what the Overton window is a concept that we haven't really talked about, but
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
what they're
We
trying to
should. We
drag
should.
the Overton window into discussions about doing things that nobody would be willing to contemplate to
Mm-hmm.
do these atrocities, right? We're trying to drag the Overton window to people to get people to think about like actual liberation of the working class. What does that actually mean, or whatever, to give prosperity to people, right? So, but
I don't
this is where
know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish your statement.
I'm just saying this is where it gets to be. There's too many ways that this conversation is too complex, or whatever. We can't talk about all the nuances of the Overton window in one discussion, right? Like,
As a black person, number six rubs me the wrong fucking way because the way media has always portrayed us is vile, like we're animals and you should expect this behavior out of us, and then when a white person does the same thing, there is the media is very sensitive and understanding and like this is a one off, but when it happens to us, it's like this is who they are. Be scared of these people. This is what I have experienced my entire life, and I'm almost 50. And I remember this from a child watching the news and seeing bad boys versus the glorification of white crimes in documentaries. I just
No,
yeah,
that's
number
where
six. Number six. I don't know about number six.
that's where
I don't,
it's
I don't like
interesting
number
how
six.
the two topics that I picked today. It's interesting how well they actually go together. They don't seem to be too related, right? But the other thing I was going to talk about is the who's more politically violent, the left and the right, because this Elias Rodriguez thing, and
Mm.
they're trying to because he had some brief affiliation with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. They're trying to say, oh look, the anti-Zionist radical left is more violent than right-wing people, whatever. We need to crack down. The state needs to have all like Trump's administration, not the they need to be having all the powers to do the most oppressive things against the left because of how dangerous they are and how unhinged, insane maniacs they are, right? You want to look at the statistics and the history to challenge them on the numbers like we did with the South Africa thing or whatever. If you have to ignore the facts in order to to go with that narrative that the left is more violent than the right, because the facts give away the ghost that the, like 75% or whatever of the political violence is done by the right wing, like since 1969 or whatever, like the 70s and stuff, with the extremist leftists like the Weather Underground doing their violent stuff or whatever. The left learned the lesson from that time that's like counterproductive. That's going to get us like our movements destroyed. So since that time, the left has pivoted to nonviolent action, and it's just been so dedicated to nonviolence actually that a lot of people on the left have started to criticize that we kind of taken it too far maybe, and that we're kind of like Jesus turning the other cheek, and we're not even Christians, a lot of us, right? So why are we allowing all this violence be taken carried out on us, and we won't become more militant ourselves? Because we have become afraid by becoming more militant that we're becoming more like the right. And so there's the tension there, a contradiction. Is it the right path for the left to continue on its nonviolent course, or should we, pivot more to? Is it pivoting to the right to become, more embracing of violence? I think that's one of the problems, that people, they can't discriminate between the reasons for violence, or whatever. They act like anyone who's violent is right wing. That's just an oversimplification. So I'm sorry to rant. Sorry.
It's
So,
okay. Let us pray. Mastermind hour. Lord, grant me the sativa to change the things I can, and the indica to accept the things I cannot. Amen.
mm-hmm. Sounds
Thank you,
good.
Jacqueline. Thank you, Jacqueline, for your. Uh, yeah, it happens in London as well a lot. Like, should we go back into we're on number seven now. You
Yeah,
want to
let's
get to
try and finish
number
them up.
seven?
We're almost halfway
Okay.
there. So, their number seven, their attacks on truth include science. So this is where, just because of what happened with COVID, I have a little bit of a nuance there, a caveat there, that the left isn't necessarily as good on science as they think that they are sometimes. But then, like it's also, I'd say, there's a bit of a problem where like the left used to be more about like medical like freedom and avoiding like corporate encroachment on medical choices, like not being shills for big pharma. Like there used to be those used to be left wing ideas, right? And then so now the left seems to be very much on board with big pharma, and so I don't think they're really defending the truth that they think they are. But then to kind of go that route, you risk being lumped in with the right wingers for being a little bit pro-choice. As far as like if people are, I don't understand how people square the circle of being pro-abortion but not pro-bodily autonomy, because those that's the same thing to me at the end of the day. Like,
I was thinking about that today about that whole in Louisiana, Governor Landry is about to pass a law that allows people to be subscribed ivermectin, and I was like, really? He's like, we need to stop making this. Uh, you know how they made it seem like it was just a horse medicine, and like they didn't have ivermectin prescriptions at a lower dosage. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm something's going on with my voice. A lower dosage for human beings. They just made it seem like people were taking horse medicine. It was really messed up what the mainstream media was doing. So I think that's a great bill that he's passing. There's also things that he's passing that I don't like very much, but I don't really care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. I care about what are you talking about? What are you passing? What are your policies? I could
right.
say yay or nay whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green. I don't give a goddamn. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And it's that cult behavior that is dividing us so we don't get the things that we need because we are just so focused on party lines and not focused on policy.
Right. That's where today I wanted to try and sort of get a touch on what the policies are in that. Why does Trump need to go after the courts so that they can implement these policies, right? What are those policies? It's the anti-LGBTQ agenda, anti-abortion agenda, that's what they need to take over the courts in order to do. So whether or not that makes them fascist is a different question, I guess, but it's worth asking these questions, making these historical comparisons to see if they actually fit. Because interestingly enough, whatever, as we're going through these, I thought that we would have a little bit more of a slam dunk here, but it seems like there's a lot more gray to this than black and white. So
You know what? Our group is so fucking funny. Why? Why? Black life, you're okay. Yes, we are funny as hell. And not on purpose either.
well, everybody's
Uh,
funny in their own way.
and Black life, excuse you. Don't interrupt our titty talk, okay? We got something good going on here. We talking about titties. Actually, not. We've been gone from that, but that was
But we're
funny
always
anyway.
ready to come back.
We can always come back to the titty.
John Kemper was saying that some of them aren't quite so attractive or whatever. It's like, they come in all shapes and sizes. But I don't know, let the ugly ones out too. Let them breathe.
I I have seen. Um, should we talk about that later? Should we get through these 20 and get back to the titties later?
Yeah, let's close up.
Let's get through the 20 and then get back to the titty. Let's do
Sounds
that.
good. Yeah.
Okay. Cause I got a titty talk for you. So number 8, here we go.
Their lies blur reality, and supporters spread them. So this is where, whenever somebody makes a list of 20, you gotta always double check to see how many of them are they trying to double up on some of these. Because didn't he already say earlier up that they attack objective truth? So this is like, yeah, they attack objective truth, and their attacks on objective truth blur reality, and their supporters support attacking objective truth and blurring reality. So it's like, well, of course they do. They're the supporters. So it's like, it's not as revelatory as it sounds when you're critical about it. But yes, that's true, right? Their lies blur reality. And the worst thing is like a Winston Churchill thing, quote, a lie can get halfway around the world before the truth can put on its pants or whatever. That's kind of what they're saying. How people love to spread lies. It's a lot easier to do than it is to actually, we're always playing catch up, trying to tell people what the truth is.
Hmm.
But, so
I mean, that's pretty much what he does. I think he's very cold and calculating about all these um what's the word? Oh, pardons he's giving out. Is the America is all about reality and influencers.
right,
So he's just uh giving away the presidency based on influence
right.
from
Well,
all these low level, uneducated reality stars. It's
but
really fucking sad.
it's one thing to like look at it like that, like, but then when when I'm watching this stuff, I'm hearing about what's happening in Gaza right today. To put in a concrete real world example to what are the types of lies that they're trying to spread and get away with, and why is it like not all lies are fascist lies. I think we can all agree on that, but the lies that they're spreading are pretty damn fascist, whatever. When we see they're putting in um, like CIA type people, like mercenaries in like the humanitarian like food relief trucks or whatever, like the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, I think it's called, is like some CIA cutout bullshit wherever, where they're acting like they're giving aid, food to the Palestinians wherever, but they're using the aid to carry on more genocide or whatever. They're having they're like forcing them to walk way out to the middle of nowhere to get to the aid, and then they're
Hmm.
like being really doing restrictive searches and stuff, like to make it impossible to even get the aid, whatever. And then uh, they lack security, so that then there's a surge for the poor people trying to get the aid, and then they have a shooting, whatever. Just they claim that they were just firing warning shots, but all of a sudden there's like 9 dead and like 47 injured, right? So you're doing more ethnic cleansing, right, in the name of providing food relief, and that's that big Hitler lie, whatever, that you know they think that they have the right to get away with. So it's important to call them out on it and say, no, you are fascist. You are not just some fucking Republican. Okay, you give republicanism a bad. I'm not even a Republican, right? But I'm saying there's a diachronic. I never understood the importance of the diachronic meaning and the synchronic meaning of words. So there's the original term, and there's the modern understanding of it, right? So uh, thing like even fascism itself has gone through, like, there's a original term and there's a modern term, right? But we have to have a serious understanding of what the difference is, because like Republican, like when you look at Irish republicanism, like the IRA, whatever, fought, everyone loves that kind of republicanism, like the French Revolution and stuff, right? But it's when you see the American Republicans, whatever, they're just a bunch of fascists, whatever, posing as Republicans, right? So we have to be sure that we actually like put people in the right categories. Like Zionists are not liberals or conservatives, wherever they are fascists. That's what I'm. But then you get put in the category of anti-Semitic for that. So when they distort, they use postmodernism to attack objective truth. We have to fight back, whether we like it or not. So I'm doing a
Did you
bunch of
hear
rant.
that there's did you hear Trump is about to start deporting Chinese um visa holders? Did you hear
No,
that?
I didn't hear that. No,
Yeah, that came down the pipe today. Black
just any
life. Hey,
citizen
two
leaving
things. Two
there.
things. One, did someone come from my mom? Because she was sitting outside. I mean, she came back inside, but can you check if someone came from my mom? And then two, can you bring me what I asked for? Thank you. Because she's in the chat, so I know she hears me. But yeah, the latest came down today that Trump is about to start deporting Chinese visa holders. So, oh, Black Life says no and no. Oh, damn.
Can't say I'm surprised by any of these. Like I maybe I used to be able, like, these kinds of things would be shocking to me, but everything I've been paying attention to the last few years, it just fits the bill of what we've expected them to try to do and what they are doing. So
You know what I think is funny about it? That they use Asians to um, take it to the Supreme Court to shut down affirmative action because they acted like it was black people. It was we were the reason they weren't getting into the colleges. And after they shot down affirmative action, the the rate of Asians getting into those Ivy League schools dropped because duh motherfucker, you are part of affirmative action.
yeah,
It was hilarious.
this is one of
They
those things.
use you like a fiddle.
One of those things that like I was saying about the Chinese are laughing at Trump doing everything that helps them, right? Well, he's going to try and take away uh, the Chinese immigrants' visas who went through all the process to be here legally. You understand that a lot of the Chinese who, like, Chinese Americans that have come here, and same thing with Chinese Canadians, is a lot of them are anti-communist. They don't support China. The reason why they're in the West is because they are capitalist, pro-capitalist, right? So when you go lumping them in with the communists because they're Chinese, and when they hate the communists or whatever, you're just trying your best to turn someone who is actually your ally today into your enemy because they look like your enemy, which is that fatal flaw of racism or whatever, as deadly as it is, so stupid that it ends up harming the people who are racist as much as the people they intend to harm. So anyway,
I just think it's hilarious. And when they and like they like affirmative action and DEI, they lump that into black, black. But it's so much more than that. But because they hate black people so much, they want to get rid of stuff that helps them. Bye bye. Chinese people that are getting deported. Bye. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You should have been on the right side of history. But since you weren't, good luck. You want to go back to we're on number 10 now. You want to
yeah,
go back? Okay.
let's
We got to get through 20.
gotta bang it out. So
We got to bang it out now. Let's bang it out. Okay. It's a
I
banger.
think, I
As
think we're on number.
Nick and RBN would say, I got a banger.
I don't know if we skipped number 9 or not, but number 10, they.
Number 9 was both orchestrated rallies to show status. I
Yeah,
mean,
but every
yeah,
political party
okay.
does that. That's
Yeah,
like,
everybody does that. Okay.
so
Number 10.
number 10, they embrace extreme nationalism. That's true. That's definitely a thing that fascists and particularly Nazis do. Number 11, both made closing borders a centerpiece. That's another thing that's like the nativist, protectionist, nationalist, whatever. That's a definitely right wing thing. Most leftists are about open borders, right? Except for some of like the more Stalinist, like hardcore communists are. They're like, actually, there's good reasons to close borders, and they're not entirely wrong about that. Like Russia has a right to be wary about, and China has a right to be wary about letting in spies that are trying to destroy them, right? So get it on, bang a gong. Yeah.
I'm sorry. They are so bad. Oh my God. Okay, number 12. I'm listening. I really am. It's just
Well,
I
that's
am
the
trying to also do the comments, and they are so fucking bad. All right,
their
go
humor
ahead. Go ahead.
is forged in the fires of the Hard Lens media chat, so their minds are sharp. So
Very. Go ahead. So
number
number
12,
12, they
they
embrace
embrace.
mass detention and deportations. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
isn't that happening?
Yeah. Number 13,
And
both.
even they're trying to do that with American citizens at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the
I
thing.
mean, the country of the First Amendment. So the First Amendment doesn't apply to people who are here with visas. They don't have a voice. So if you, uh, as a visa holder, you're supposed to have the same rights under the Constitution as all of us, correct?
Right,
And if you say something against Israel, what have you, Marco Rubio thinks that it's okay to deport them
right.
because they had an opinion.
Well, and
So,
also
yeah.
Israel's an excellent example that you don't even have to be like a citizen. Like the Palestinians are the ones that the original inhabitants, and but that would the Israelis support mass detention and deportation of the Palestinians and trying to get them to ship them over to Libya, or to Rwanda, or to anywhere that will take them, right? Like to Chad. To but anyway, number 13, both use borders to protect select industries. So yeah, I guess, but that's like something that a lot of
They
governments
do.
do, right? Um,
They do. I mean, but every government does that. Yeah.
Not
Okay.
necessarily a right wing thing, but it is something that the
Okay.
nationalistic countries do,
Yeah.
protectionism.
No. A lot of this stuff is both red and blue. A lot of it.
But like the countries in the anti-colonial countries, like the Sahel Alliance, they are definitely using their borders to protect select industries because their industry needs, it's like in its infancy and it needs to grow up unharmed, so they need to protect their baby, so
Hmm.
they have the right to do that. Number 14, they cemented their rule by enriching elites. That is something that the leftists don't do. That is something that the right, far right definitely does. So
Um. Oh, you said leftist.
yeah, like
Okay. But the blue does that too.
right, the Democrats do because they're right wingers,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
The
Okay.
communists
Okay.
don't
Gotcha.
cement their rule by enriching elites, except for
Okay.
the people critique China for
I
cementing
was
their
just making
rule in
sure
a
we
way
was
by
here.
allowing billionaires in their country. So there are criticisms, but there's always, that's like a opening a whole can of worms to get into that, right? There's a whole nother conversation to be had there. So um, number 15, both rejected international norms. That's yeah, it's like the part of the attacking of the rule of law. The people, they had to in order for a nationalist has to reject the international law in order to really have consolidate sovereignty over their nation. So what's that laughing at?
Um. I'm laughing at the commenters. They can't get over the boobs.
Mm, that's all right.
So, so for the
You
record,
start.
you started the booby thing. Did I? I probably did. I like boobies. I really do. And then what
I don't know.
Black
I
Lives
think
Matter?
I
I
feel like
thought,
antediluvian atheists started it.
yeah, you know what? And trying to put it on me, huh? I thought it was reserved for the diddler.
Yeah, I've been hearing some
Uh,
crazy things. I heard the name Steve Harvey mentioned in relation to this Diddy case, as far as intimate
You
relationships.
know, I'm gonna get back to this, but so Black Life couldn't do her show on Tuesday because it's the end of the year and um, because the kids are out or something, they're like doing like 7 to 5s every day or what have you. Um, but I wanted to talk about this on Black Life, and we will. Black Life, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna give a teaser. Back in the day, the black people who were like James Brown, he was the first black man had a jet. Like there was a lot of black celebrities that were really, really rich and died in peace. Now they all dying in scandal. And I think it's a conspiracy. Where is
Hmm.
Bad Cookies? Bad Cookies, come on with the conspiracy theory. Because why all these black men who are having um uh they own all these what you call them? Help me out, Black Life. They own all these records, not records, but what do they call them? I forget.
Record labels.
I forget what they call them. Like they own the masters. Masters. Thank you.
Oh,
They own all the
oh, the
masters
right.
to all this stuff, and all of a sudden, all out the blue, John H said it. Here come these goddamn snow bunnies with
One
all
day
these goddamn accusations
we're gonna pressure
from
them back.
way back when. And it's like, oh, and they just, and everybody's like, yeah, okay, well, it's a snow bunny. It must be true. And take the man down and take all his wealth. No, I'm not believing none of this shit. I'm not
But
believing it.
if we ever get
The
Tin
the
Rap,
late the latest one was Smokey Robinson. That's the latest one that came down. That man, 85 years old. This woman talking about he been abusive for 20 years. Well, you stuck around for 20 years. So what you talking about?
yeah,
Girl, you could have did that 10, 5, 15 years ago.
well,
10 years ago.
that
You wait till
that's a
he
hard one.
85 and he owns all the masters to Motown and he about to die and now you trying to come out with this? Girl, get out of here.
Yeah,
Black people ain't y'all better y'all black people better stick together now. Y'all
well,
better not let these white folks take all our money and put it back into the white community and steal it from steal the wealth that we didn't accumulate it on our own. Now come on now.
I was just saying
All
that's like a
right,
bit,
let me go back. Should we go
it's
back to
like a bit of a minefield. That kind of you see how they play those. Excuse me. They play the groups against each other, right? The divide and conquer every chance they get. So you see, it's what you're saying is it's smart. It's important to be like, yeah, but think critically. You know, after 20 years of abuse, now you have a problem with it, right? But to make that point, we risk undermining like the whole feminist believe the women, right? Because then the right wing is always like, oh, we don't believe all women, whatever, right? And that like there's a I'm just saying like they know these slippery slopes very well, and they try to push us down them, right?
Bill
Women,
Cosby?
yeah.
That was a farce because he was trying to buy a network, and they was like, "Fuck that." I think he was trying to buy CBS or something. He was trying to buy something, and they was like, "Hell no, nigga, you still a nigga."
Mm.
That's what they think of us. You still a nigga. Calm down. You need to bring yourself down a notch. Michael Jackson,
Well,
he
that's
had
where
way too much power.
like
You know they
Kanye
killed
West
him.
saying the things that he's doing, it makes me worry. Like wherever, like all these anti-Semitic uh, pro Hitler stuff that he does.
Kanye West was talking about
Yeah,
how they was putting him on drugs and stuff.
yeah, but he's like the same. Like, they still, no matter how much you do for the white supremacists, they're still gonna look at you as black, right? I don't understand how he doesn't see that. Or people make apologetics for him. It's like,
Somebody's in my house, and I'm sure they about. So, can we get back to this? I'm gonna go on mute because I
all right,
know they're gonna slowly come in this room. So,
okay, let's finish him up.
let's
We're
get
almost
back
there.
to yep, and I'm gonna get on mute.
Okay. So number 15, both rejected international norms. I think we already talked about that one, so not to cover it again. Number 16, they attack domestic democratic processes. This is something that I was talking about earlier with the take over the Supreme Court. I think that is an important thing to recognize, that the Nazis needed to attack the democratic processes to establish their dictatorship, and so does the Trumps using the same playbook. So I think that that's a valid one. Number 17, both attack the judiciary and rule of law. So that's a little bit like the same kind of point, but there's a little bit of a, like, there's a distinction to be made between democratic norms and the judiciary, but it's kind of two sides of the same coin. Number 18, both glorify the military and demand loyalty to it.
Especially Miss Massey. She say, bring you some Kool-Aid. I'm gonna get this one right here. We supposed to go get you some wine. What?
Yeah, go get me some wine, child.
You coming with me? Yeah, let's go.
I'm gonna be off soon.
Gotta volunteer me for
I'm gonna be off soon.
You told me that we gotta go to the I didn't say I was gonna.
Here, maybe I'll have to, I'm gonna,
Oh.
there we go. Oh, yeah. I can mute her. I forgot I can mute her from my end. So sorry, Abby and all your guests. Hello. I hope you're all having fun. We're gonna wrap up soon or whatever. Going on too late. We're holding up the party. So let me finish up here. So
Hey,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I thought I was on mute. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
But look, Black Life wants to say something.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you for changing my mood. I was not feeling well, totally. But then I plugged in. I started just looking at the chats, and then all of a sudden, it just started making me laugh. I'm like, man, these people are hilarious. You guys are hilarious, man. I just love it. Just wanted to say that. Thank you.
And close the door.
And this is your second one.
Thank you.
Even though you
Thank you, Tosh. No, I feel the same way. Austin.
Michael said thank you. He feels the same way.
Yeah, Mike, I know, bro. It's awesome.
All right, so should I go up? We're on number 19 now, or
Yeah, we just got two more. They both glorify the military and demand loyalty oaths. That's definitely what you need when you want to be imposing brutal, violent oppression on people. You can't have. You need everyone to love the military if you want to be brutal. It's just
are we
obvious.
supposed to have a birthday party or something for Trump?
I don't know.
mean, you never know if it's real or not until it happens, but whatever. Okay, so 19.
They proclaim unchecked power. So see what I'm saying? They're trying to leave the best for last, right? Like, because that's you also can't really be like a absolute dictator like Mussolini or Hitler or Trump wants to be, without like making the argument that you deserve to have unchecked power. You need to have it in order to actually get anything done. Anything less is inefficient. You need to have full whatever, like your word is the law of God kind of thing, right? They make Trump out to be some whatever second coming of
A false idol.
yeah the
Pretty much
authority,
a false idol.
yeah, the unchecked power of God, right? So number 20, both relegate women to subordinate roles. So that's something that like people kind of, that's a really, you do the historical deep dive into how the Nazis treated women. It's one of those things I wish that neo-Nazis would recognize, that they act like they're protectors of the home and the nation and stuff, but they are brutalizing their own women and encouraging their sons to do the same to their future wives, and that's very destructive to all of society. And, yeah.
How much of that do you think is real or um, paid people paid to put this content out about like trad wives and alpha men and all that stuff?
That's something
Like, because
that's
the world is a stage. We
important.
know this.
There's the right-wing media presence is much like everything else. Like the left is non-existent, kind of, right? Like in the media space, the right wingers have a lot bigger of a microphone, right? They have a much more professional, like backed with a lot more funding and everything, so they have greater access to the minds of the public than we do, and yet so there's this disproportionate, like people are more likely to believe that the left is this big bad boogeyman, not because it's true, but because the right has such an ability to whisper it into your ear. So that's where the other, I'm not sure if we're going to be having time to get into it, but I was seeing this thing with that so-called uh, uh, Elias Rodriguez guy being a so-called member of the left, right? And it just kind of made me like kind of butchering the way I'm trying to say this or whatever, but it made me think of the whole under discussed topic of how much more violence is being perpetrated every day by the far right, but the media is not covering it. But then like if there's one incident or two incidents that the left actually does have somebody do something violent, it's all they talk about for days and weeks and months, right? They got to use it to actually, like they're trying to use Luigi Mangione and stuff to literally change the law to make it so they can prosecute leftists harder. But then I'm coming across articles that's saying U.S. sees 300 violent attacks inspired by far right every year. And that one's from 2017, but like still, that's not exactly that far away, like that, not that long ago. So if you try and someone wants to give me a statistic about
That's
how
not what's
often is there a
glorified
left
in the
wing,
media.
sorry,
It's not really talked about in the media
no,
like that. My black light brought me a shot of sake.
oh
If
nice.
if we have any Japanese viewers,
Well, I've never tried
konnichiwa.
sake. I'd like to have it
You
one
never
day.
tried sake?
No,
Oh, it's
one day I'll
delicious.
have it. Cheers! I'll just with my water today.
Cheers. I mean, it's just like wine. It's different variations. Some are sweet. Some are like very, very full of alcohol. Some are, bitter. It's just like any other alcohol.
Yeah.
It's just variations of it. But it's very good. It's like rice wine.
Yeah, I'll
I love it.
definitely try some out one day. I always just get my creature of comfort. I just get my vodka, but I haven't been going to the liquor store very often these days. It's a little too far away for me now. So
I love vodka. Vodka's my thing. I like Tito's vodka.
yeah, that's one of the kinds. If I'm not buying Finlandia, I'm buying Tito usually.
Tito's is a nice priced vodka that actually tastes like good quality.
Right.
Like it's right there in the, you know, right there.
Although with the tariff war there, that was one of the products that comes from the States, so it's probably not worth getting. But then now, apparently, all these tariffs are not on anymore. It's like you can't follow this story. Everything changes every day. Anyway,
Read that. Read that.
Jen Psaki, I wouldn't drink her with Jimmy Dore's mouth. Ah, yeah. I don't know. she's one of those redheads that's like as awful as she is as a human
She's the
being.
ginger that ain't black.
Her face isn't the ugliest, right? I don't know. I'd probably I wouldn't. I would probably tap that. Feel a little bit gross afterwards, but
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. I
but do you have
suppose.
to do Gen Saki? I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a neat thing, but yeah.
Okay, y'all want to hear my titty story? Because they was still talking about titties back here.
I've been waiting for me to get done with my droning all day long so we can hear about the titties.
Okay, I am not opposed to like nudism in an environment with friends that are you just chilling. I'm not opposed to that. Okay. I did not know this was happening though. I went to a friend's house. Somebody invited me somewhere. And I'm like, okay, and I show up, and the woman opens the door, and she has no shirt on, but her titties were like, like titties, but hers were like this. They literally there was no collagen in them at all. I'd never seen titties like that, and I didn't know how to. I didn't want to like she was confident opening that door with titties that didn't have no fat or meat in them at all, and they just like this, and I was like, okay, hi. I didn't know what else to do, and it was cool. Like after I got past that, and that was my first time realizing, okay, there are a bunch of different titties in this world. I mean, I know they got these titties, they got those titties, they got I've seen titties, but I never seen anything like that. But hey, they her titties, and she was proud of them, and I was happy for her because we had a wonderful time communing in spirit. That's my story.
Well, now that you told me that story, you reminded me of an old YouTube cartoon that I've seen. We could maybe close out on. It's just a short little clip, but
No,
it's
no bad cookies. It wasn't no kitty litter in them. They was just it wasn't anything there. Okay, so I need to pull this up from. Okay, I'll pull that up. There was nothing inside of them. It was like all the water, anything that could be in them. I'd never seen anything like it. I was amazed, to be honest. I was amazed. I've never seen a titty like that since then, before then, and but I'm sure they're out there. And
yeah.
to all of you that have them, God bless you.
Sometimes the beauty's on the inside for us, and it's just the way it is. It's our the luck of the draw. Other
Yeah,
times
they were.
it fades, right? That is, no matter how beautiful you are, at some point you're gonna be a prune one day, right? So
Then I had a friend who it's another story. She had cancer, so they had to like take some stuff out of her titties. Okay, so the man is like drawing, and this is a man, right? This woman is like 60, 65 years old or something. He drawing all these lines and where the nipple gonna be and all this stuff. And I looked and I said, wait a minute. I know you're not drawing 20-year-old titties on a 60-year-old. Uh. We need a little, I need a 40-year-old titty at least. Like, put a little drip on it. Like, make it, you can't just put a titty like that on a 60-year, like, that don't look right. You
no,
need a little droop. You need a little uh, on
I
the
swear,
titty.
yeah, like I don't understand
What are
why.
you doing?
Like, I don't even understand why some. Like, I guess I kind of like the people like get ashamed of their bodies and vain about it, even though they're beautiful. But women who get fake tits, stop, most of you, please, because the natural the
I
tits you
mean, if
already
that's what
have
they want to do, somebody
always
gonna
look
like
better.
it.
There's nothing wrong with the tits they already have, but they always got to replace it with something that looks unreal, like unnatural. But I guess if that's what people go for, if you want to spend your money on that, risk getting
If that's what you want to do,
yeah.
body autonomy or whatever. But I think it's
Same
kind of
thing
weird.
go with your nose, right? Or your ass. Like, I'm sure there's exceptions. There's probably some people out there who like the surgery actually makes them look better, but for the most part,
I was talking to my really good friends. We've been friends for like over 25 years or whatever. And I'm looking in the bathroom and I'm looking at my titties and I'm like, one of them is lower than the other. So I took a picture in the mirror and I sent it to him. I was like, is this what y'all titties look like? And they were like, welcome to our world. One of them just drops a little lower than the other one. Hey, they still pretty titties.
well, it's probably just because we got like a dominant left or a dominant right side, and we tend to lean, and it just over time it leans.
Not BBL Drizzy. You know what that means, Michael?
No, it's
BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy. Okay, I'll tell you later. Do you know what it means when they say them BBLs killing y'all and the thighs don't match? You know what that means?
I just know there's like big breasted and
Okay.
right, and then there's like the big dick man, right? There's all these different.
Y'all don't worry about it, y'all. I'm gonna hook Michael up. I'm gonna give him the information he needs to know. Don't worry about it.
Get me in the loop so I'm not left out in the cold.
I'm gonna keep him in the loop so he ain't left out in the cold. Okay.
Appreciate you.
Oh,
So
all right. So
got it here. Or
yeah. So you want me to play? Oh Lord. Okay, I see it.
Mhm.
That is funny.
It's from like
Okay,
9 years ago. I just remember it going around the circuit at the time, and it was funny enough that it stuck with me all these times. And now every time when people talk about
That's
sagging
funny and
titties like
cute.
that, I think of this video. So if you haven't seen it, I share it with you tonight. So
I've never seen it, but it's funny. Oh, I can't stop it. Okay, here we go. All right. So before we leave, um, we have a dance party tomorrow.
right, yeah.
I
Oh,
hope. Hi, Carlos.
I was just gonna say, yeah. What's up, Carlos? Nice to see
I
you.
know.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, Wesley's in the house. Wesley, like some of y'all just been behind the scenes creeping, huh? Okay, that's cool. So we have a dance party tomorrow because what we want to do is not sit in the despair of what is happening around us. We want to have fun. So we're gonna. There's an invite in the Discord, correct?
Yeah. And I can. I'll drop again another invite to the Discord just now. I did it earlier, but if someone else has popped in that wasn't there before, I'll do it
So
again.
basically, what's gonna happen is you can. I think we can have up to 10 people at a time or something like that. And you don't have to show your face if you don't want to or what have you, but you could drop in a song. Um, of course, we have to kind of vet the song beforehand just in case there's trolls or whatever. Um, but we're going to party.
Right. Please
We're
share
going to
your.
dance. We're going to dance on webcam.
I've been trying to think of new songs and stuff. I don't really go. I don't listen to music.
We got some songs.
I don't usually
Me and
think.
Taj Mick got some songs. Black
Yeah,
Life, we in the house.
because I don't normally dance. I don't even know what kind of music to think of to dance to. So please
And
share some songs.
I can't really dance, so
I'm not even sure if I'm gonna dance. I'm still trying to make up my mind.
Don't be scared to dance because I can't dance either, and neither can Tosh Mint is a chair dancer. She loved to dance in the chair, but as soon as she stand up, it's over with. And if you got fans, pull them fans out. Where them fans at?
Well, for me, it's
Okay, that's a black thing.
probably got like the whatever. I forget if it's what the term is. There's a phobia for dancing. I might technically qualify for being afraid of dancing, but I don't know if it's that extreme. Maybe it'd be good for me to get some exposure therapy on that. But yeah.
Yeah, and every genre is welcome in this dance party. It's just a way to get to know everybody and see the things that you are interested in. Like you pull up a song, and we'll make sure underneath we say who the song came from, so people could get a understanding of who you are and what your interests are. So I think it'll be fun. It's a good way to get to know each other and be um, to be ourselves in the midst of the madness that is this global society. Okay?
Yes,
So
actually,
with that being said,
we don't have to be so tight sometimes, all the time.
we don't have to be so tight all the time. Sometimes we can just chill. And that's what we're gonna do. And that's who we're gonna be tomorrow. So with that being said, are we good?
Yeah. Hope to see you guys
We
tomorrow.
love y'all, and we hope to see you tomorrow and see you next week.
Thanks for hanging out with
For
us.
sure. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Peace.
Do you put low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie him in a nut? Can you tie him in a bow? Can you throw him over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Do you boot hang low? Here we go now. Yeah, get it on, ready? Shake the boot. Here we go now. Yeah. Jen Abbott, son of a monkey.